we might as well start with Liam and John. We said we'd give him a break, but sure, after that big exciting game, we probably got him in here in a hurry. John's sporting his proper outfit tonight, and how old is that top, Liam Brosnan? Mother of God.
That's truly IT if the good old Sigerson Cup. Donal, that's not too old.
They were the Sigerson then, were they?
We were in the Sigerson then, that's right, yeah.
They were the good days. Come here, all the action, all the talk. Everybody wants to talk about that game yesterday, Liam. Did the right team win?
I suppose, look, going into it where everyone was kind of debating who, like there was no one that could tell you what the week leading into it who was going to win this game, because there was never going to be too much between them, because at one side you had a very good team in Milltown, Castlemaine, playing Division 1, held their own all year.
Very steady team,
yeah. And then on the other side you had a team that was progressing nicely with the last 2 years, won the All-Ireland last year, and then you have the two Cliffords, two of the best footballers in the country in my book, thrown in there. So you just did not know. The only thing last week, and I even said to John when I was talking to him, that I felt that Milltown would have to score anything between 15 to 20 points to win that game, and they did. Because look, David was always going to score maybe 10 or 12 points, maybe 110, you just don't know what, he was always going to score high, Paddy and everything, and I just felt that if Milltown could score at a high rate, that they would be in the game. And the two goals proved pivotal yesterday. It was but it was an entertaining game, massive crowd. I think they showed that the club football, all right, between the razzmatazz and the supporters and everything in all the competitions that we've seen this year, there was a great buzz there, and
absolutely. John, Austin Stack Park, I mean, people talk about it don't be full half the time, but when it is full with a crowd of 5,000 or 6,000, it's a magical place. I mean, it has an amphitheatre of sound. The supporters can take either side. It's a great vantage point. It lends itself beautifully to a club championship final.
Oh, it does, Donal, and it's it's a cauldron of noise and colour when it's full, it's a great venue for that type of a crowd, and what the game lived up to it as well. Like Liam said, very hard to call it during the week. We know what the Cliffords were going to do. A lot of talk about Fossa coming into it, but maybe Milltown, Castlemaine came in under the radar, like to a lesser extent, and they've been building nicely. They have a lot of exciting players. Great club.
And they had beaten good teams along the way. I mean, they beat Kilcoman. People said, they could be favourites. They beat Legion.
That was a big one, I think, really, Legion, because they were one of the favourites. I think Staxton themselves at the start, we said that they'd be one of the favourites for it. They beat them. And, it's look, when you have like Killian Burke and Ian O'Connor, you like Fossa have the Cliffords, but these two, I mean, Killian Burke is an exciting talent. Ian O'Connor's probably one of the best kickers in the game in the country.
I told you that last year, Les.
No surprise.
But I think that goes back. I was involved when he was a minor. He's a sweet kicker, in fairness to him, and it's all about getting scores. And great credit due to Milltown. They were senior, they went down for a bit. Great facilities out there as well. Fantastic job done there off the field. And this was a big one for them. And it's I suppose it went to the wire. If you were told before that David Clifford would have 2 chances, you'd say he'd get them. It just shows that he's human after all. He kicked 12 points, but they just came up short. A fantastic year for Fossa, but Milltown march on. They go up to senior ranks, and then in the Munster club.
In many ways, are they more equipped as a team to be senior, Liam?
They probably are, I think, experience-wise. And I think, like John hit the nail on the head there, if you can get things right off the field, and I think Milltown have done that in the last couple of years, the facilities, the whole lot, they're playing a high division of football with the last numerous years. And I think that'll help. I think you could see Fossa have improved from last year, and I think this year will bring them on a bit as well, because you learn from your mistakes, and even yesterday you could see towards the end they might have had 1 or 2 chances that they could have scored, other fellas could have scored, but they were kind of looking for Davis or Paddy. I think from learning from this, fellas will be told, like, if you're open, you have a shot. We can't depend on 2 players. So they will be learning. Fellas get more experience, and they'll be getting more confidence. And I think and Fossa are a club that are growing as well. And it's I do think that Fossa are a team that'll be around for the intermediate for the next couple of years.
I suppose they're ahead of their time, Liam.
They are,
nobody thought they'd be contesting an intermediate final this soon. you know.
And that jump is a big jump. I mean, successive promotions from this time last year, they were just escaping from this strike.
And David said that in his interviews as well, like that you have to kind of make hay win to know it, because it is a hard competition. We see the teams that are in it again. I think I got saw a WhatsApp or something with the teams that are in the intermediate again next year. There's nothing given in the intermediate, you know. So
only one team not in it that was in that list.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah,
all the rest of them are still.
All the rest are still there.
It was as tough this year as it was last year. Very welcome back to Terrace Talking. The comments are coming in, and I'll get to plenty of them. And of course, all the comments are basically as well on Fossa and Milltown. A couple on the All-Stars, which we will touch as well at the back end of the show. Loads of Stephen Cluxon fans out there as well. Obviously not in Kerry, but we have a couple of them, and we will read a few of them. Of course, but we're going to go back now, of course, to, I suppose, analyse yesterday's game, Fossa and Milltown. And on the line, Andrew Moynihan was there on the sideline watching the game. Andrew, first of all, the question I suppose that I asked the boys at the end, did the right team win it?
Yeah, thanks, Donal. I think so. I think when you look at Milltown Castlemaine, they're probably the more balanced team heading into it, and that kind of showed yesterday. And I suppose the greatness of the two Cliffords for Fossa nearly got them over the line, and it was a thrilling contest. But I think, to be fair, the right team won.
Yeah. To be fair, I suppose Milltown at half time, I'd imagine they'd have been pretty disappointed. Maybe not with their performance, but by the fact they didn't have enough on the scoreboard, maybe.
Yeah, and I think they had 6 wides in the first half, and personally I thought that would come back to bite, but they're definitely much more efficient in the second half. But I suppose they were definitely disgruntled at half time that they didn't pop over more of those shots, because I suppose when you're against Fossa, they'll always be in the game. You can never count them out.
Mm-hmm. And of course, goal chances are hard enough to get. Gavin Horn had one after maybe 6 or 7 minutes that kind of skirted across in front of the goal post. And as you said, it probably didn't end out to be a huge miss in the end, but a lot of wides as well. It felt that Milltown, particularly in the first half, they were taking kind of high percentage target shots that really there was going to be no kind of win bonus at the end of them, and they had some horrendous shots and horrendous wides.
Yeah, they did, and there were definitely a few shots you consider as gimme shots, but luckily for them, it didn't come back to bite, and as I said, a lot more efficient in that second half. And as for Fossa even, it's interesting that they had just 2 wides in the whole game, so that's a very interesting aspect of how the game went for Fossa, and they were after the 55th minute as well, so they were perfect up until the 55th minute, which is very interesting to look at. Yeah, absolutely.
The big talking point in the first half, particularly with the crowd, was Paddy's penalty, no penalty. He goes in, he goes down. To one side of the field, it looked like a great tackle, and the other side of the field, it looked like he was kind of pulled down. A bit of talking, the decision was made. Brendan Griffin, to be fair to him, he didn't really rush to judgment. He kind of listened to his umpire, and he made probably the right call in the end.
Yeah, I think they were probably correct to revert the call. It wasn't a penalty in my opinion. Why it was changed to a hot ball, I'm sort of unsure, and Paddy may feel aggrieved as well not to have his quick shot at goal disallowed, but at the end of the day it wasn't a penalty, and Fossa did get a point out of it.
They got a point, of course. They went to half time 8-7 then. Everybody felt that Fossa were going to kick on. I mean, they had the win, and the win was significant. David, of course, levelled up matters fairly lively, but I suppose the crucial score was Brendan Casey's first goal, really.
Yeah, and I think Milltown Castlemaine's goals, they couldn't have come at better times. Brendan Casey's goal in the 38th minute, his first one, was just right after David Clifford pushed Fossa in front for the first time. And I suppose it's all credit to a fantastic run from Gavin Horn, who found Brendan inside, and he finished with style.
And of course, big impacts. Jonathan Sullivan coming off the bench. I mean, he scored 2 points. He was on a lot of ball. Jonathan, of course, has played for Milltown Castlemaine for many years and has always been kind of a big impact player, probably at starting level, but coming on, his 2 points crucial.
Definitely, and it's what you want in a substitute, really, Donal. He got on a ton of ball, he got 2 points, and his impact was just immense on the day.
And of course, Fossa did, I suppose they went 3 down, they came back, they got back level again, and then I suppose another sucker punch in a sense, but that Killian Burke run was certainly value for money.
Oh, exactly, and it was the second goal was like the first. Clifford put Fossa in front again. Milltown come bombing down the field. Killian Burke with an insane run. He got past, I think, 5 Fossa men twisting and turning. he found Brendan Casey, who finished off with a brace in the day and a point to boot. I suppose when you're looking at Killian Burke, it was definitely shop window day for him, and his running was immense throughout the game. He's a serious engine, and I'd say probably a cert to be in the Kerry panel next year.
And then of course it comes down to the wire then, David, 12 from 12 all day long, everything going right, under massive pressure, producing fantastic scores, and just I suppose at the end, the shot that goes wide.
Yeah, unfortunately he was unlucky to hit that free at the end, but I suppose a tough angle, and he is a victim of his own huge standards. But his performance yesterday was one for the ages. I'd compare it to the one against Galway last year in the All-Ireland final, his game against Tyrone in the 2021 semi-final, and I'd suggest anyone who hasn't seen the scores from yesterday to go look at it on Twitter, because it was just sensational to watch. Like the mark he got, the point off his right near the finish, and he just continues to excel, and he proved his back-to-back Footballer of the Year worthiness.
Stay with us on the line there. We're talking about impact off the bench. Jonathan Sullivan Liam had a massive impact yesterday.
Big impact,
I mean, you're talking about teams bringing on subs. Fossa didn't seem to have that impact off the bench. That was probably kind of maybe known before that they had their...
I think that'll come over experience, over the years, over time that'll come, yeah.
But the 2 points, how crucial they were, because they were against the wind as well.
Yeah, that was huge, and it's funny you said about this topic, because I had Jonathan in the Sigerson above and Tralee as well.
He wore the jacket.
But it was very stylish. He's one of these forwards. He's a score getter, and it was important when he came on yesterday. You could see he wanted to get scores. The 2 points he kicked, there was no one else going to get the ball. He knew what he was going to do, and they were vital scores at the time, because Fossa were kind of getting on top a small bit at that stage, but Jonathan came in and kicked a couple of points, because everyone was kind of looking at Fossa. They had the breeze behind their back, and they were starting to maybe click into gears a small bit, and Jonathan just kept the scoreboard taking over from Milltown. And next, all of a sudden, when Killian made a run, you wouldn't see the way he slid through 5 or 6 fellas. That's what we like to see from wing forwards. That's the old style wing forward, to take his man on, and he went, instead of being roaring from the sideline, mind the ball. They were telling him, take his man on, and he went through him like a knife through butter, and he created the goals. And I know people will say about him that he's not a great scorer himself, but my God, does he create scores. And that's what
I suppose. To talk about John creating scores, you need to finish scores, and Brendan Casey yesterday, I mean, whatever annals of history will be written down about the young lad, 2 goals in a county final, half of course what David Clifford scored, but far more crucial probably at the end result. He missed a couple in the first half. He kicked a few wides, but he was virtually unmarked throughout that game. Did they ignore him, or did they say, God, we'll let him alone? Or because they did play a sweeper, maybe it's sometimes even played 2 sweepers, but he seemed to be free for an awful lot of the game.
He did, yeah, and as you said, in the first half they missed a few, but I think they rallied at half time. They were the big thing about Milltown in the second half, when Fossa went ahead or threatened, Milltown reacted, and the goals were crucial. But like himself and Ian, a 2-9. They got between them. Like, you need a big score. Like Liam said, we all thought that they'd have to kick 15 plus points to win it, or maybe 112, whatever they may be, because of the Clifford factor. But look, 2-1, he put away the goals. There were two great runs by Gavin and by Killian, but he had to finish them, and he did.
And what I like about him is that he got into the right positions. Usually if a fella's not marking, he'll stand the way out, but he got into scoring positions.
And he looked to finish the goal.
He looked to finish the goal,
I mean, it wasn't the case he could have given 2 hand passes over the bar too, but he looked to finish.
The second goal, he rounded the goalkeeper and hit the back of the net, so like how many, he's dead from Curra as well. I better get dead. So that's
how many times, Donal, at every level we see players taking the easy option.
Yes.
Another guy yesterday with the conditions, he tapped it over the bar, but he had one thing in his mind, and he went for it, and he got 2-1.
Does that come from a team talk? Does that come from the player you are? Does that come from the management saying, listen, we want you to take your chances, Liam? Yeah,
it comes from a bit of everything, and it comes the managers that just kind of saying, go out and play. And Killian Burke is a typical example of that. There was none of this, mind the ball or over and back to field. He was taking his man on.
He was well contained in the first half, though.
He was
turned over a couple of times, and a couple of his turnovers let the scores down the other end of the field. I mean, he kind of came into his own when he came maybe a bit out of the field.
Yeah.
Would that suggest that he's more comfortable probably running from deep?
Yeah, a player like that, he needs to be facing the goals. Another kind of, and he did that because I suppose they were trying to mind Gavin. They kind of changed him with Gavin in the middle of the field at the start of the second half, and he kind of got more space, all right, around that area. But like when you have players like that, you got to give them free rein, because I know they're going to make mistakes, they're going to turn over a ball, but like you have to, sometimes you have to make a few mistakes to get something good out of. And to be honest, he was the match winner yesterday with the runs that he created, because Milltown needed goals to win that game yesterday.
And I suppose like Paddy Clifford with Kerry, he takes on the guys and goes by
Same thing.
He mightn't do it every time, he might get turned over, but he takes them on, he's making space, and the kickers do the job then. But he's selfish running, like he's taking on the responsibility, he's get the opening, but he's enough sense upstairs then to pass it off. And I think when he gets in with Kerry, I think he's going to be developed even more, because I think he's only starting out, look, and he's a lot to learn, but he's quite good at this stage.
But Milltown had a pile of runners yesterday, like David Roach, centre back. He made a couple of attacking runs, had a fantastic game. Rain was back, and to be fair, Gavin Horn had a fantastic game for a man that had one leg, and he had one leg, and to make that run for the goal, I think that's when he kind of did the damage again. But like, interesting, listen to his interview after. He didn't care if yesterday was going to be his last. He was going out, and he was going out to win it.
Doesn't it say a lot though what the club means? Like, I read an article by Ian Twist on Saturday, coaching officer. This was the one, like, you could sense the pride in the interview, and Gavin the same. He was going to play in that county final. He couldn't train during the week.
Couldn't, yeah.
So, like,
It's gas you mentioned Ian Twist, of course, because they won the All-Ireland in 2012, I think. Well, 109, they came along. They won the Munster 11. They won in 12. They beat a gang from Mayo. I can't think of their name now. Davids, actually, beat Davids from Mayo. He scored 4 points from frees, right? But the man of the match in the 2012 All-Ireland final was
Mike Burke.
Very close, wrong.
Very close, wrong.
Nowhere close at all. It was Cathal Moriarty.
Cathal, yeah.
Cathal Moriarty was captain yesterday, wasn't he?
Yeah, and a solid year. I've seen that.
Solid year.
A solid year. I've seen a couple of these games now this year, and
So there's a link to the new crowd coming through from the winning of the 2012. Does that play a bearing on it when you're inside and saying, lads, this is what it was like, this is how it amalgamated the club, this is how, I suppose, the supporters got out? There's that kind of runability. Have Milltown that runability this time? Either two of you.
Yeah.
They have, in fairness.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it comes, look, you see who the coaching officer, Ian Twist.
Yes.
He's been there and done that. Huge respect.
He knows it now.
Huge respect. They're building away. They went through a few tough years. They developed on and off the field, and now you say they have the experience, but they have the young lads coming in, and they're learning from the experienced guys. Like Sir Brendan Twist, a selector, he has forgotten more about football than some fellas will ever know. But that experience there, he's a referee, he can see both sides of it, and I think their manager
Mark is excellent.
From what I've seen, what I hear about him, like, is meticulous, and his team played that way.
And I was watching him yesterday, and I know Mark through the development squads with the past. I was watching him yesterday. He was the first manager that I ever saw that leant up against the fence a couple of times and just watched the game. Usually managers are roaring and shouting and everything. He just sat back. He wouldn't
have been heard yesterday.
He wouldn't have
shouting 5,000 people.
But it just tells me that he was letting his players do the job. He wasn't roaring at them to mind the ball or go backwards or sideways, or he'd had faith in his players, and that's the way Mark is. Very cool, calm customer. So yeah, they were from all around. No more than the Milltown management, and I know all the boys there as well. But it's just unfortunately the green came out on top of the red yesterday.
Absolutely. Yeah. Come here, Andrew. Just one question before you go. A big week for Kerry in the fashion sense. New jersey came out.
Yeah, and I suppose it's a return to basics, and I suppose that's what a Kerry jersey should be. And personally, I'm a big fan of it. I think it's the nicest one since Paul Gallivan's effort back in 2018. It was also used in 2019 as well. I can neither confirm nor deny if I purchased it already. But walk around Clarny at the weekend, you just see a shot of people with the Kerry store bags. It seems to be a popular one, and a nice touch with the 1984 tribute. But I suppose at the end of the day, an All-Ireland winning jersey is a good jersey, so that's what you can take from that.
Absolutely. Of course, John Kane doesn't need to buy it because he has the 1984 jersey.
It's not player fit though.
Do you have many of the old jerseys, or even allowed to bring them home then, John?
Yeah, we were. I have a few, all right, Donal. Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah.
Wow.
I have that.
What does a few mean in North Kerry currency now? Is that
Maybe a dozen or more, maybe.
a dozen or more?
But that was a nice one. Like when you were first of anything.
Yeah.
I think it's nice.
Your final jerseys are nice to have anyway.
Nice to have, yeah.
Is it kind of surprising, Liam, that with all the ways of fashion and the whole lot, we're reverting back to tradition, to look at our strong green and gold colours for our jersey again? We always kind of go back, don't we?
Yeah, that's our history. That's what we grew up as youngsters, is the green and gold. I know people are giving out about the leisure wear, the different colours and stuff like that they're not happy with, but that's leisure wear. You know, sometimes people won't wear green and gold tops going out or anything, so that's why the county board, you could see they try to change it around a small bit just to make it more marketable, I suppose, the way things have gone now. But I think it's a lovely jersey. I like the colour of it, you know. And I even said it to Ambrose, was it last week? I said, did he save a lot, like the question you asked, John?
Yes.
Did he mind his jerseys? Because my mum used to keep my final jerseys. I was never swapped the final ones. I always kept onto the.
You were in loads of finals, weren't you?
Well, there's a couple of them, all right. I still have my two senior jerseys as well. But Ambrose, that's the one jersey he kept, was the 84 one.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
John, it's gas, like when you were playing back in 84 and the whole lot, and of course we must mention Willie Maher tonight, obviously, because Milltown Castlemaine, he came through. I'm trying to think of Milltown Castlemaine famous footballers. He was certainly one of them that came through, a great minor as well at the time. Are you conscious back then of the whole jersey and keeping it, or was it just plain be done with it?
No, it was, I'll tell you, look, it's a huge honour to wear the county jersey in any county, you know, wherever you're from. But in Kerry, it's particularly, you're following on from legends, you're just there, and, you know, it's a special jersey, Donal, to be fair, and the tradition that goes with it. So anyone that's fortunate enough to get a jersey from 1 to 26 or 1 to whatever, 21 at that time, you know, you cherish it, and especially if you win, it's even more special.
Mm-hmm. Did people swap jerseys back in those days?
They did, yeah. I have a few Dublin jerseys, a few Cork jerseys, and Niall Cahalans maybe, and Dennis Welsh, and a few like that. But the final jerseys, particularly 84 to Centenary All-Ireland, was a huge year for Kerry because, you know, having been beaten in 82 and 83, 84 was special. Mm-hmm. But I think Miko put emphasis on the fact that it was Centenary year. There's only one team going to win the Centenary All-Ireland, and that was going to be Kerry. And we had a fantastic captain in Rosie. He was brilliant. And, you know, a team of legends that were on the way down maybe, but there was a kick in them and they went on to win 3 in a row.
Mm-hmm. So it's a big kick, 3 in a row. Yeah. Plenty of comments coming in, and we'll talk about kicks. Donal, I'm a great believer in respect for the kicker. I was disgusted at Fossa fans yesterday when Ian O'Connor was taking frees. It's not part of our game, and it's not what people believe is okay. Then the GA is going downhill. I suppose. Well, you know, I suppose there was lots of noise for lots of kickers yesterday. Donal, David Clifford. David Clifford is one of the greatest footballers of all time. Whether he won or lost yesterday, it will hurt nothing for his reputation. We travelled all the way down from Galway to watch him, and it was a fantastic story to bring home to our neighbours. Yeah. Yep. Funny enough, Liam, I mean, yesterday, it's amazing when you sat in the crowd. There was obviously very Milltown Castlemaine people. There was very Fossa people. There was very neutral Kerry people that you would have known. But there was an awful lot of other people there.
There was. Walking in the gate, I met 2 people from Cavan.
Wow.
Yeah, they came down to get autographs. Well, they were in before me, so I didn't know if they paid. I presume they did. But you could see the amount of people that travelled from all over Ireland to see. Like we were just saying, like that the Cliffords do put bums on seats, like they do, honestly, and rightly so, because even watching David's performance yesterday, you know, it was one for the ages. Again, he didn't win it, but by God, the points that he scored and the way he played yesterday was just.
While it's Fossa's night, Donal, I suppose we'd have to say the interview David gave on Friday night at the All-Stars, you know, and like Angalan as well in the hurling, but we'll talk about David, like, you know, this was football of the year, back to back. He spoke about missing the chances in the All-Ireland final, about his mum, the tough year. What an interview, like, for any young fellow out there, like, inspiring. And whilst Milltown's night, look, David Clifford is up there in lights. He's one of the best, and he will go on to be one of the greatest.
And we're lucky that we have him.
And we're lucky.
Yeah. David Clifford was unreal yesterday. It was an absolute pleasure to watch him play. He could do no more. 12 points in a final for your club is outstanding. Donal, Ian O'Connor gets very little credit for all he brings to a team. Donal was right a few weeks ago when he said he was a class kicker. There we go. Did I say more?
One fan in it, Donal.
One fan in it. Thanks very much. Thanks very much, Mr. O'Connor. Great to be at the game yesterday. Travelled all the way down from Waterford with my mum as we did for the Stacks match. Two exceptional games, two exceptional players. Would have loved it. Went to extra time. I reckon the East Kerry manager will sleep a bit easier that night. Yeah, absolutely. There is that, of course, John. Milltown will now depart Mid-Kerry.
Yep.
So on the face of paper, it would look like they weaken it. Fossa don't leave, obviously, so that leaves the two Cliffords and I suppose Emmett O'Shea and the couple others that were in the panel. Does that skew it a little bit for East Kerry already?
Look,
or is it next year another year?
It's another year, but East Kerry are going to be one of the favourites every time before there's a ball kicked. But certainly Milltown's departure is going to weaken Mid-Kerry. There's no doubt about it. You know, the calibre of player they have, and but look, they'll be looking forward to going up senior. They'll be trying to follow in the footsteps of what Milltown have done, what Rathmore have done.
Yeah. Liam, if Ian O'Connor was not Jack O'Connor's son, would he be on the Kerry team? That's a
100% agree, yeah. And I see no reason. I know that people be saying about his age and stuff like that. There are many around the county that are much better than him.
We'll coach on that now. There isn't many more, or there isn't many?
There isn't many more. He's looking all year. He's one of the top forwards.
Yeah. He has delivered for the club.
He has delivered.
Donal, how good was Killian Burke when Milltown moved him out? He drove through the Fossa defence and he caused wreck. Yeah, that's what we touched on earlier. Paddy O'Shea was right, Donal, about J. Fans. It was not in Sack Park yesterday and saw David Clifford scored 12 points from 12 shots. When he missed the late free, I heard people giving out. Crazy. Crazy but typical, I'm afraid, John, is it?
It happens. Look, it happened. It happens every player, and you know there's a certain element out there. Looking, they're expecting greatness all the time.
Yeah.
And it's not. He's human. He couldn't do any more. He missed the chances, and but that's support us for you.
Yeah, absolutely. David Clifford makes football a joy to watch, and it was a joy to watch, to be fair. Milltown Castlemaine did a great job yesterday, Donal, on the Cliffords, and still David scored 12 points, but they did limit Paddy's impact a lot more. Liam discussed.
They did, yeah. I thought they changed players around him. I see Gavin McKenna was on him for a while, and Gavin had a very good game as well yesterday. One fella that really stood out. But not saying that he had a poor game or anything like that. Yeah. I just think he looked a bit tired in the second half.
Yeah.
If anything comes out of all this fuss and loss, and I think it has been said, I think the two boys needed this break. I know they would like to win on and try to win in All Ireland with Foss and stuff like that, but I do, because Paddy is in a position where there's a lot of work. He took a lot of hits yesterday. Every time he got the ball, Milltown had 3 and 4 around him. No more like David every time, but Paddy was a guy that they targeted all right yesterday. But he was still one of the fellas that came to the fore.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, in fairness, the comment was they limited him.
They tried to limit him, and they did. To be fair,
And I suppose that's all you can have. Donal, Milltown, Castlemaine would have been kicking themselves had they not won that yesterday. They missed all above and before them in the first half with easy points, and they missed an open goal as well. Yeah, we were saying that. I mean, if they had lost, John, everybody would be pointing to their first half performance.
Oh, there's no doubt. Going a point down, that would have been. It wasn't a reflection on the way the game went in the first half. But the main thing is they learned from it. They were against the wind. Mm-hmm. Everybody thought Fossa would kick on.
Yeah,
but they didn't.
Can some teams play better against the wind?
They can, yeah. I think you can get space. There's more space. The team that'll hold the ball well. Yeah. Strong runners.
Does it suit more comfortable footballers? Well, as that can play it, keep it, retain it,
and the strong runners.
And the strong runners, I think that's the critical one. And they had runners from all angles. Milltown, they have a lot of pace in the
game. Because if you look, the first goal was a breakdown. See, when you were playing with a breeze, the opposition will attack.
Yep.
So it was a turnover, and next thing Gavin Horn went on the gallop.
Brendan Casey will go down in history as one of the most important players in Milltown Castlemaine's history. I think we kind of mentioned that earlier as well. Hi Donal, Patrick Kilcoman here. I think Fossa should be promoted to the senior championship next year. Why? Because Fossa are good enough to go senior. Also, the senior county championship would be a cakewalk for East Kerry next year. Well, my God. I suppose to get promoted you'd like to win though, wouldn't you?
You would, yeah. And it gives you that bit of a push as well. When you win, it gives you, it builds a bit of confidence in the team and stuff like that. Like going straight up into senior. I think Fossa could eventually get there, but I think it'll take they'd want 1 or 2 more years to build more around the Cliffords.
And maybe for more players to come through as well. The Doreen Collins of the world.
That's right, young guys, a bit of experience.
A couple of more years at this level, and a couple of more tough games as well. Ivan Tidings asked hard luck to Fossa, well done to David Clifford with 12 points, and well done to Paddy as well, 2 points. Maybe if they got the penalty it would be in a different game. Sad to see David crying when he missed the last point. Keep the head up, roll on 2024. And hi Donal, congrats to Milltown Castlemaine. Are they good enough to go all the way to win the All-Ireland? And then I thought Shane Ryan was very unlucky not to get an All-Star. That's Charles out there in North Kerry. Good evening to you, Charles. The Shane Ryan thing we will discuss on the way out, and we did already. We crowned them already All-Ireland champions. No pressure out there in Milltown Castlemaine.
They're a solid team.
Yeah.
There's no superstars in them.
John Evans is waiting for him next week.
John Evans is waiting for next week. Cork champions. So that'll be an interesting one for them.
Kilmartin are kind of...
They're dogged.
They're real
tough.
I mean, to come out of Kilmartin to win the Cork championship, you obviously have to jump a lot of fences, and we'll have one more to jump as well. But now we will take a quick commercial break. Now it's going to be a big evening tomorrow evening for Kerry J. Of course, they have plenty of motions to go through. We'll have them here. We'll hit 1 or 2 of them maybe before the end. But obviously the other big event of the weekend was the All-Stars. And of course we said our congratulations to David winning the player with that ticked. The All-Stars, the quick first comment, I have loads of comments to be fair coming in about Shane Ryan should have got an All-Star. He was the outstanding in goal all year. The Dublin media only picked the All-Stars. Stephen Cluxon was the only played 3 games. Shane Ryan will be back next year stronger than ever, and that's from an East Kerry texter, and of course he'll be playing with Rathmore next year, not East Kerry. Cluxon in goal, he becomes the oldest man ever to win an All-Star, John. 7th win, he won his first one in 2002, he's won another one now 21 years later. I presume on the strength of winning the All-Ireland he was always going to get there, was he?
He probably was, he only played 3 or 4 games, Donal, but he's a super keeper.
He probably won the All-Ireland without him.
Probably wouldn't you say? No. And that's why he was brought back.
I
remember we were here the night when he was on the panel.
That's right.
He came back for a reason. And critical to them, but very unlucky in Shane Ryan. Thought he had a very solid year.
The defenders, Conor McCluskey, Derry, he won his first one. Michael Fitzsimons got his 4th one. I presume that's the David Clifford marking job that kind of put him there. Tom Sullivan got his 3rd one, and congratulations to him back in Dingle. Of course, a big win for Dingle as well, the West Kerry Championship the weekend. The half-back line, it was a tough half-back line. James McCarthy, yes, 5th award. He's on the go as well, a long time now to win 5 awards. Gareth McKinless, Derry, interesting one. 1st win for Derry there. And Conor McCarthy, Moynihan as the number 7. They certainly went all around the country to get the half-back line.
They did, and I thought our own Jason was hard run by, to be honest. I thought he had a great Jason Foley. I thought he had a great year. I thought he was... I had him down my as one of the Kerry All-Stars.
I thought so too, and I thought Christian McCaig was the other one. He's very consistent here, up to meeting David Clifford, but Clifford did to him what he did to most fellas. So,
exactly,
but Jason very unlucky. Thought he was very consistent, and he's marking the best player in the opposition all the
time.
Now we did have a comment in for Jason. He hit the headlines there in the North Kerry Championship. Of course, Jason forgot to bring his green shorts with him, and he wore white shorts. Jesus, Jason, for the replay, bring your green shorts. I'll have more comments coming in. Now midfield, Brian Finton, Brendan Rodgers. You couldn't argue with Rodgers.
You couldn't argue. No, he had a great year, fantastic year.
10 was Paddy, 11 was Shawnee, and 12 Enda Smith. Nice seeing the Smith win one.
Nice seeing the Smith win one. I suppose the big eye opener there was probably no sign of Mannion. That was the
Would
talking
Mannion
point
have
there.
been centre forward? Was Shawnee took Mannion's one, did you?
Yeah, so that's why we're not giving out that much, I suppose.
But doesn't it say a lot? Dublin are Ireland champions, 1 forward.
And he was man of the match in the All-Ireland final.
And outside of Paul Mannion, they hadn't another forward that was in contention. I think.
Not really.
Callan, Kieran Kilkenny,
they got Basquel, all right,
but they weren't in it. So it says a lot about the way the game has been played.
The game has been played, yeah.
David, of course, at 13, his 5th award. I mean, my God, he's winning them for fun now. 2018, 19, 21, 22, and now 23. Shane McGuigan, Derry. And, of course, Pascal was on the other corner. His first award as well. For Derry. Is that why Mickey Hart has gone up to Derry fairly quickly?
Yeah, look, I suppose we were lucky enough to get over the line against Derry.
Yeah. It was the one game that if you lost, you'd have said,
we wouldn't have come away with too many objections about it. Yeah. But yeah, there seemed to be a team that's coming. No, I met a fella not too long ago, and he said maybe Mickey might bring him backwards. He might, because they need to be playing attacking football.
They do.
But it'll be interesting to see what way they go. Yeah, but for Derry, I suppose they would have been the 4 fellas you would have picked out. Yeah.
John Kennedy at 42. I mean, to still be playing club football is something. Obviously, inter-county, I know you're a goalie, and people say, it's not the same. Cluxon, obviously the oldest ever All-Star, and then he coded at the stage, which is amazing. Could he win another one at 43?
He could. I think he's critical. It's a huge position now, the goalkeeper. And I don't think Dublin have anybody to take over from him, and that's even more important, and that's why he was brought back.
God almighty. And David Clifford, of course, at the other end of the spectrum. I mean, he used to be a young guy, 25. I was looking at it, of course, Maurice Fitz was probably as young, or maybe a small bit younger than him in a couple of weeks when he's won his first one. And we also always talk about David and the 5, but Paddy Clifford at 26, he's 3 All-Stars won. I mean, he's kind of come under the radar because he didn't reappear out of the blue. He kind of came in on the back of East Kerry.
Yeah.
Would he have been seen, and of course it's a very subjective question, had he not been with East Kerry?
Well, look, East Kerry put him on the shop window.
Yep.
And it kind of shows that when you're playing with these in the county finals, you're up against the best players in the county, and we saw that there was something special with Paddy. We were all kind of saying, had he the temperament for it? And it was like a switch. He did. He turned into a guy that was just a real leader on the field, and it is proven today like that we can't do without him. Really, we could do with another Paddy Clifford, but he's a guy. He's third All-Star, and there's a few more left in him too. Donal.
Liam, seeing that you were in the JM1 and not the one that sells all the bathrooms and all that kind of crap jacket, will you explain to the listeners what a restart kick is? Because there was some bit of confusion, particularly when people thought it was a penalty for Fossa. More people thought it was a free out, and then nobody knew what poor old Brendan was doing but he did know exactly what he was doing, which is probably the most important thing about it. It was a restart. Some people call it an indirect free kick. Why does that happen?
Yeah, look, the indirect is coming from the soccer side of it, but basically the restart kick is if a player goes down injured, if he's on falling or not being from the opposition, it's like they say, it's a restart, but you can't kick at the goal. Well, you can kick at the goals, but someone has to touch it. It's basically it's an indirect kick. So that rule is there, but it's under the restart kick.
Yeah,
you can't score direct.
You can't score direct. It's like, and the player has to touch it. Whereas Paddy could have kicked it at the goals yesterday, and maybe if the goalkeeper got his fingertips to it and pushed it over the bar, it would have been allowed.
Yeah. So the referee clearly decided, I'm stopping play now because there's an injury to a player. Obviously the Talbot guy went 19 feet into the air, got the ball, landed on his back, couldn't play the ball. Some people are saying he should have been pinged for a free out, but the referee decided, he was quite close and he saw it, there's an injured player here, I'm going to stop. And he clearly explained to all the players, I mean obviously players want to know what they want to know about it, but he clearly had control of it. Paddy took the quick free or the quick tap or whatever some people call it, the indirect free kick, and the game just gets on again, and that's the way the game is played. A lot of people as well, John Kennedy, talking about the referee in the first half, the penalty that he gave, but then he went in to take advice.
Yep.
We've been talking all year about we want referees to empower their linesmen or empower their umpires. I mean, this was a case of a referee just doing that.
Yeah, look, Brendan is one of the top referees, in fairness to him. He's an inter-county referee. He showed his experience. A lot of people were talking about the indirect free or the restart. He got it spot on. I think he was calculated for the penalty he went in, or the supposed penalty he went in, discussed it, and it wasn't given. And he's people respect him because he makes the right decisions and the tight decisions, usually, in fairness to him. And the biggest tribute you could pay to ref is he was inconspicuous yesterday. I know both teams wanted to play.
Yeah, of course.
But he was inconspicuous. Top class ref.
I think the biggest call he made actually in the game was coming down the back straight. Fossa touched the ball on the ground right in front of the post and gave Milltown a handy free, which was obviously scored. Quick
That
word.
was a good block down, actually. That was a block down.
Yeah. But he landed on the ball and
he landed on the ball. He couldn't help himself. No, it was off the ground, but it was a fantastic block because he was either going in the back of the net at that stage. Yeah,
it was made. Quick word, Nina's free kicking. I mean, the one from 60 metres.
Oh yeah, that was a sweet kick in the first half. With the breeze, and he'd won after it again, and we thought he might kick it, but he didn't really go for kicking it. But he's unerring with his free kicks. But not only his free kicks, his whole intelligence, his general play, and the intelligence that his movement, and he never gives away a bad pass. No, so it'll be interesting now to see, will we see him inside with Kerry?
Not a hope. Don't be putting pressure on the father. Listen, guys, thanks very much. Great to catch up again tonight. You go in and do your homework, because we have our quiz in 3 weeks' time. The hurling boys are certainly getting down the banks. After 7 o'clock, we will be catching up Dan Carney and we'll be talking about Lace football.